in this workshop. So today, basically, we're going to discuss about some of the deliverables that we are going to start collecting from you guys starting from this week. So basically, this workshop will serve you guys to produce high quality products on all of the deliverables that we are going to ask you. So just to give you highlight about what we are going to do in this session. So this session is going to be broken down into two. The first one is going to be led by Zelalem, who's the lead head of the product team here at A2SV. Yes, the meeting is recorded. It's being live streamed on YouTube, so you guys can see it later on as well for references. So yeah, this session is going to be divided into two. First one is going to be led by Zelalem, who's going to discuss about three of the deliverables, the content that three deliverables should have. I believe there are pitch decks, extended pitch decks, and your demos. So he's going to explain to you more on these three items, like what to include, what content must be present in this deliverables. And after that, we're going to go to the second session, which is going to be led by Birook Melese, who's also the lead of UI UX team here. And he's going to mostly talk about the design and styling aspect of these deliverables. Like even if pitch your demos have good content, if they are not presentable enough, if they don't look good enough to be presented to other people, they will not kind of hit their targets and do what they are supposed to do. So the designing part, Birook is going to lead and show you what you guys can do in order to produce a more appealing product. So yeah, I'm not going to take much time. Yeah, one thing I forgot in between these two sessions, like after Zelalem finalizes the content area part, Emmanuel here, one of the community heads, is going to take 10 or 15 minutes to explain to you how you guys are going to submit this products for us. So I think we have kind of touched some part of it in our last recap session. And he's going to get into details and let you know what you guys are supposed to do, how the index sheet, you'll know what I mean, the index sheet is going to work and what's your role and how you guys can interact with that sheet. He's going to explain that to you. So yeah, this is just the high levels of the session. It's really advised for you guys as well to take the things that are going to be discussed here and apply them in your deliverables. And if there are people who have missed this, please let them know to at least see the the recorded version of this session. So yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, Zelalem is here with us, so I'm not going to take much time. Zelalem is going to continue with his presentation. So thank you, Zelalem. The stage is yours.
All right. Hello, everyone. Perhaps, Bamnet, can you give me a confirmation if my audio is audible?
It is audible, but
Yeah,
there are some background noises.
Some background noises?
Yes.
I see. Wait, let me tell the guys. Okay. Okay. So yeah, I hope the background noise has been cleared. Okay, so we may begin. Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to the presentation. So today we'll be talking about the pitch deck, of course, and the extended pitch deck. Since one of your deliverables is the regular pitch deck and also an extended version of the pitch deck. So here we'll be talking about, we've already discussed how you should prepare your pitch deck. So in the very first section of this presentation, I'll, um, I'll just give you some tips and pointers in order to polish your regular pitch deck and make it as good as possible. So after that, I'll introduce what new things you should be including in your extended pitch deck version. And for that, we'll be talking about how you should be doing that and some tips and tricks for that. And finally, we'll finish by going through how you should be doing your demo video. All right, so let's begin. So if you guys remember, last time we said the pitch deck is a presentation that introduces a business idea, product, or service to potential investors, partners, or customers. So this pitch deck, you'll be using it a lot of times in your life. If you want to present any idea or a product, you definitely will be preparing a pitch deck. And this pitch deck could be targeted towards different types of audience. It could be towards investors if you're really at that stage. It could be even to your friends and family if you want them hooked on your product and if you want to get some feedback. So pitch deck is a very important document. So last time we discussed that you should be having these 10 things in your pitch deck. So the first is your title slide, you have your problem statement, then solution, market opportunity, business model, marketing and sales strategy, competitive landscape, financial projection, team, and finally you finish with call to action. So the extended pitch deck will be in addition to these 10. So we'll continue counting from 11, 12, 13, and it goes on. All right. All right. We're back. Sorry about
Hello?
that.
I can't hear anything now.
Yes, yes. Yeah, sorry about that. I had some technical difficulties. Okay, so continuing. So let's start with the very first slide. So you already know what the title slide is. Now we'll just keep it to some tips and pointers. So the first thing is to keep it clean and professional. As you know, the saying goes, less is more. So keeping it clean and professional, decluttered, actually gives it a professional look. So that's one thing. And ensure that your logo is of high quality and it's prominent and clearly visible on your title slide. And I talked about this last time. Your tagline should be memorable and it should convey your value proposition. So take some time to really refine your tagline or your slogan so that it stays within the minds of your audience. So next, you could also consider adding an impactful visual that aligns with your brand. When you're building a brand, it's there's a lot of things attached to it. It could be the font, it could be the color, it could be the design, it could be the different shapes. So make sure that all of it aligns with your brand and takes time to hammer it out and ensure that you have a quality product. So next we have the problem statement. So for the problem statement, I want to give you this one important pointer. So you should follow a compelling problem statement has three things. So first, it answers what the problem is. Then it answers who this problem affects, And third, it talks about the consequence of this problem. So these three things should be there. For example, we can take an example from Netflix and Spotify, and we can look at their problem statements. So, for example, Netflix's problem statement goes like this: um, consumers are frustrated with the limitations and inconvenience of traditional movie rental stores, which often had late fees, limited stock, and required physical travel. So here it addresses these three things, right? So what is the problem? The problem is they face limitations. They are frustrated by limitations and inconvenience of traditional movie rental stores. So that is the main problem. So who does this problem affect? It affects entertainment consumers. So, what is the consequence of this specific problem? The consequence is that they usually are faced with late fees, limited stock, and it requires physical travel. So, these things address these three things, so it becomes a compelling problem statement. So, keep that in mind in your problem statement slide. And we can also look another problem statement. We can take a look at Spotify's. So it goes like this: access to music is limited by physical media, piracy issues, and costly purchases, making it difficult for users to discover and enjoy music legally. So again, what is the problem? The problem is that they have their access to music is limited by different factors. So who does this affect? It affects music listeners. So what is the consequence of this problem? It makes it difficult for users to discover and enjoy new music legally. So instead, they go into these piracy issues. So this is also again a compelling problem statement. So keep this in mind. And next, you should also be specific and concise. You shouldn't go into vague descriptions. Be very clear about it. You should also be using data or quotes to support the significance of the problem. Because if you guys remember, the problem statement is very important because this is where we sell it to our audience. They have to really believe that this is in fact a problem. So make sure that you have enough data and different testimonials to support your claim. And finally, utilize different visual aids like graphs or infographics, which can really help to emphasize the problem and to really paint a picture in the minds of your audience. So take these things into consideration. And now moving on, in regards to the solution slide, you should focus on how your solution uniquely addresses the problem. And you should highlight different key features and benefits that set you apart. So your solution could be a very common one in your industry. But what you should be doing here is to highlight how you set yourself apart. So highlight those key features and benefits that set you apart from your different competitors in your industry, and use visuals like product demos or screenshots to show your solution in action. So when you're providing that solution, you should also give your audience an insight into what your solution looks like. So supporting that with visuals is very important to keep them engaged. And also like all the, slides, just keep the solution statement very simple and avoid technical jargons. All right. So our next slide is the market opportunity. So for market opportunity, this is where you show your market size, your different trends, and the future of this market, the growth of this market. So here you should be using credible sources for market data and statistics. Um, so cite your sources, ensure that you have credible sources, and you should also consider breaking down the market into segments because your target markets might not only be one segment; it could be different ones. For example, you could be targeting government organizations. You could be targeting small and medium-sized enterprises, you could be targeting individuals, all in the same product. So you should break them down and analyze the market opportunity for each different segment. And you should also visualize your market size with charts or graphs. So in order to clarify this slide more, of course, you could do bullet points and list down all the sources, but that would really make it lose its appeal, and it would make it a bit difficult to understand. So in place of this, what we usually do is we have different types of charts and graphs that enable you to easily showcase the market opportunity. So definitely look into those and utilize those. You could use different types. There really isn't one type of chart or graph that is used. So there's a diversity in this field, and experiment and figure out what works for you. So moving on, we have our business model slide. So for your business model, you should be clear and straightforward about your revenue streams. Perhaps you have maybe you have one or two, perhaps you have five different models. So you should just be clear about which methods you're going to be using, and you should be using diagrams or flow charts to illustrate your business model. Um, so when you're using different types of diagrams or flow charts, you could consider using um, simple visuals such as flowcharts or revenue streams diagrams to show how your money flows through your business. So this can make complex models much easier to understand. And you should also include revenue breakdown. So you can provide a pie chart or a bar graph that breaks down your different revenue streams by percentage. So even if you don't have the exact numbers, especially if your company starting very early on, then you could at least show your audience where you anticipate most of your revenue to come from. So if you have maybe let's say four different revenue streams, using a pie chart, you can highlight where you anticipate most of your revenue to come from these four revenue streams. So you utilize those types of illustrations. You should also highlight your pricing strategies and also ensure that your pricing strategy is viable for your target market. So this is very important, and this is why you also do your market research. So once you truly understand your market, who they are, how they live, what occupations they have, what they look like, then you can devise a specific plan for them. And for that, your pricing strategy should be viable for your target market. So if you're saying I'll make them pay $100 per month, then it will be a subscription model. But it shows that your target markets are, let's say, those in suburban areas that can't really afford to pay that much. Then your whole business model will not be viable because you'll be using your business model to do your financial projections. So really understand how much your target market is willing to put into your product. So finally, if applicable, if maybe you have some traction already, you can mention any successful pilot programs or any early revenue that you might have got. So mentioning that definitely helps in creating a credibility and showing that your model actually works. So your next slide will be the marketing and sales strategy. So here you should show a clear understanding of your target audience. As I said, you should have your different customer segments. That's important. You should also highlight both short-term and long-term strategies. So as your product evolves, you might have different strategies now and 2 years in the future. So if you have planned it out, you should highlight it here. And in order to escape from that generic type of marketing and sales strategy system, you should try to include different strategic partnerships and collaborations that you have planned. Um, because it shows that you have plans to collaborate with different entities, different organizations in order to propel your product forward. So, creating partnerships is always beneficial in businesses, and we see it in our day-to-day lives in these big top tech companies. Even if they can do some things on their own, they might prefer to outsource that and partner with another organization just for this, because it has its own benefits. So, so for yourself, you might not be doing everything yourself. You might be partnering with another organization, which will be handling a different aspect of your product. So that's also totally okay. So if you have devised those plans, put it here, and that will be part of your marketing sales strategy. So if you also have any past marketing efforts, you can provide some metrics in this slide. So moving on, there's the competitive landscape. So here you should use competitor metrics to visually compare features, pricing, and different features and aspects of your products. So in your competitive landscape in this competitor matrix, you'll have uh, a lot of your competitors on one row, and on another column you have different features. It might be the pricing, so you'll be listing all those, and in a square matrix you'll be checking which competitor has those and which competitor does not have those. So it's a fairly common matrix to use, and you can do more research on this and refine your pitch deck using this matrix. And here you should really emphasize your unique selling propositions, because here is your chance to highlight where you excel. So, what your competitors do not have, you should definitely put it here and tick that box for your product. So, this is how you show you're excelling than your competitors. So, here one thing to do is to keep it positive. So this is important because you should focus on yourself and what makes you better, rather than critiquing your competitors and saying that they're really horrible in this. Just focus on the positives that you have. So that's an essential tip, so keep this in mind. And moving on, we have the financial projection. And in your financial projection, what is very important is to be realistic, because since this is a projection, it's possible that we might be carried away and we, inflate our numbers. So this is not the right way to do it. And your jury, your investors, they know that these can't be realistic. So you should really be realistic, and you should have justifications for each projection. Um, so be careful about this, and use clear and concise tables or charts for easy understanding. As I said previously, putting them in bullet points or just listing them will not be a good way to represent this. You should opt for different types of charts and tables in order to do your financial projection, because there are a lot of metrics involved here, and when you're putting it together, it will be cluttered and it will be hard to understand. But there are many charts that will make this process very easy for you and very much visually appealing. Um, so in your financial projection, especially if you're in the early stages, it's normal that you have a lot of assumptions, because you don't have the exact data for that yet. So you start with assumptions. So it's okay, while it's okay to have assumptions, it's important to highlight the key assumptions and the rationale behind these assumptions. Um, so don't forget about this, and be sure to explain this at least verbally. Um, so yeah, this is your financial projection. Moving on, we have the team slide. So the team slide, it's important because the team slide is what tells your audience that your team is capable of handling the product and seeing it to completion. So here you should focus on relevant experiences that aligns with your business needs and your product. So only mention relevant experiences that will elevate the status of your teams. Include professional photos and very brief bios of each team member. And if you also have any advisors or board members, you should definitely add them here because it adds credibility and it builds trust. And maybe if you have any accomplishments as a team or successful past ventures, this is also your place to mention it. So this is the team slide, and your very last slide and your pitch deck will be the call to action. So for the call to action, it will depend on your needs. So you have to be clear and direct about what you're asking for. So it could be for investment, it could be for partnership, it could be for mentorship, and you might have different objectives. So you should be clear and direct about it, and you should include your contact information, your perhaps if your app or your product is on Play Store or you have a website, you have social media pages, be sure to add them here. And you should also try to make it visually appealing so that it leaves a lasting impression because this is the very last slide of your pitch deck. And add a final but powerful statement or a visual that reinforces your message. And this would be the same as the title slide. So in the title slide, you capture their attention, right? So first impressions matter. So you hook them with the title slide, and now you are ending with the call to action. So you should again conclude with your powerful statement so that it stays in their mind. So this is all about the regular pitch deck. So you also have another deliverable, which is the extended pitch deck. So in this extended pitch deck, it will allow perhaps investors or jury members to really dig into your product to understand it more. It gives them insight in different aspects. So it tells the whole story of your product. So let's see what we have in this pitch deck. So as I said, this will be an addition to the regular pitch deck. So you'll have your regular pitch deck. It's 10 pages up to the call to action. So when you're doing your extended pitch deck, you'll just be adding an 11th pitch deck, an 11th slide. So it will continue 11, 12 until it reaches 20. So the first thing is the vision and mission. Next, we'll go on to the product roadmap, and then we have the traction, your technology stack, risk analysis, customer testimonials or case studies, your use of funds, your exit strategy, and finally you end with your product demonstration or your walkthrough.
Hey Zelalem, can you hear me? Sorry to
Yes,
interrupt.
yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so you are still on the eighth slide on the financial projection. Like,
Really? Okay.
yeah,
Is that the case now?
yeah. Maybe how about is there anyone who's having the same issue like me? The slide is showing.
No, no, it's all right. It's all right. What's
It's
it?
all
Okay,
right.
maybe it's my
Okay.
internet connection.
I
Okay.
think it's
Yeah.
the connection issue. So, like, I was also facing similar thing. I thought it was stuck, but it was my connection. Like on other pieces, that's on the right slide.
All right. So I should continue, right?
Yes, yes.
Yes,
All
yes,
right. Thank you.
please.
Okay. So yeah, these will be the slides that we have in the extended pitch deck. So let's take a look at them one by one. So the first is the vision and the mission. So you've probably seen this in different websites. So when a company is advertising themselves, they usually add in their about sections, they have the vision, their missions, and their values. So, so for your vision, it outlines the long-term goals and aspirations for your company. So it paints a picture of what you aim to achieve or become in the future. So it's literally like the term vision. So it's what you think of your company when you look ahead into the future. So you put this in words, and this would be your vision. I'll be providing some examples for this. So your mission is what defines the core purposes of your company. What is the mission of your company? So it describes what your company does, who it serves, and how it creates value on a daily basis. So these are the two distinctions between your vision and the mission. So for your vision, let's take an example. I think it's better understood by an example. So for an example, I took um, Ethiopian Airlines. You all probably know about Ethiopian Airlines. It's the biggest airlines in Ethiopia, in Africa. So um, I just went through their website. So their vision, let me read you their vision. It says their vision is to become the most competitive and leading aviation group in Africa. So this is their vision, right? When they see themselves in the future, they envision themselves as being the most competitive and leading aviation group in Africa. So that's what they aim. So what is their mission? Their mission is to contribute positively to socio-economic developments of Ethiopia in particular and the countries to which it operates in general, by undertaking its corporate social responsibilities and providing vital global air connectivity. So here it's really defines the purpose of the company, what they're doing, and who they're serving, and how they create value. So this is the distinction between their vision and their mission. So putting this in will really paint a picture for whoever is attending your presentation. So it will underline the goal that you have for your product. And now the next slide will be about your product roadmap. So in your product roadmap, it will outline the different development stages of your product, and including different future features and milestones. So in this slide, um, perhaps in your hackathon phase, you've started the product very recently. Perhaps you might have been developing on a previously started product. So in this slide, you should be outlining the different stages that your product has passed. So it starts from the future. So it starts with the future. It tells the audience what you've been doing until now, and what you're currently doing now, and what the future looks like for now. So in the future, you might have a total of different features that you'll be adding, or different collaborations you'll be having. Maybe you might be branching out and going into different sectors. So all this, including all this, will ensure that you have a vision for your company and you truly understand your products and your market. So a better way to do product roadmap is, if you know the number line, it starts with a zero in the middle, right? So the zero in the middle, to the left of it, it has all the negative numbers, and to the right of it, it has all the positive numbers. So the zero is the now. So you're currently at zero, and what you're currently doing now is developing your MVP. So that will be now. And in the past, you have different achievements that you have done. Perhaps you completed your market research. Maybe you did some minor concept tests. So you do all these things. And in the future, after the MVP, you might have different things such as releasing uh, um, your your beta product for the public to test and gather feedback. Perhaps you have a launch prepared, or perhaps you're being integrating a very essential future feature. So these things you'll be highlighting them in your product roadmap. Now moving on, we have your traction. So the traction is the progress that your company has made so far. So by traction, we mean that you have already acquired some metrics. So what this means is it could be in terms of your user growth, your revenue, your partnerships, your customer acquisition, and it could also be different other things. So if you have already done these things and if you have something to show for it, then it ensures that your current model is working and people are buying into it. So if you have those things, this is definitely the place to include them. So you can also include milestones. As I said, some of you might have different projects already on top of which you're adding on. So you can highlight those things. So it will ensure that you have a working model. All right. So moving on, there will be the technology stack. So the technology stack provides an overview of the technology infrastructure which is supporting your product. So here you'll be detailing the tools, platforms, and frameworks that are used for your development. And to also highlight any proprietary technology or innovations that you may have. So this will really help your perhaps investors or jury members to really understand what you're working with and how they can work with you together. Um, so if you have you definitely have your stocks. So here, list them out, tell them what you're working with, and especially if you have any proprietary technology or innovation, highlight this because this is a selling point for you. So, yeah, in your technology stack, be sure to include these things. So, moving on, we have the risk analysis. So risk analysis is very important, especially when an investor is planning on investing in you, in your product. They will ask for a risk analysis. So it identifies the potential risks and how you plan to mitigate them. So in all businesses, in all products, you will have a risk. So it could come in different forms, and it's up to you to identify those risks and also devise different plans on how to mitigate those risks. So these risks might be market-related, operational, financial, or technological risks. So for this, you should present a risk management plan that shows how you will handle these challenges. So for these, you might I have listed down some frameworks for you to use. So we have four types of frameworks, although you might use some in combination with the other. So let's start with the first one. So first we have the SWOT analysis. So SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So it really highlights the both internal and external factors uh, related to your strength and weaknesses in your projects. So for strengths and weaknesses, you'll be analyzing what you have in your team that will make you strong and what will make you weak. And if you clearly know these things, then you can start working on them. So accepting that you have weaknesses is the very first step. So accepting them, that is definitely acceptable, but because accepting them and identifying that you actually have weaknesses is more important than trying to hide and show that you're all strong. Because even huge companies have different weaknesses in their teams. And for opportunities and threats, it describes external factors that could be that you could use to so identifying this and using the SWOT analysis is a very common way of doing the risk analysis. So another framework is the PESTEL analysis. So PESTEL stands for political, economic, social, technological, legal, and environmental factors. So for you to identify all these factors and how it impacts you, it covers most of the things related to risk when it comes to a product or a project. So take your time to really understand what factors would impact you in these different things, highlight them, and provide mitigation plans for all these things. Moving on, we also have the risk matrix. So the risk matrix is, as it says in its name, it's a matrix. So um, on one side, it has different risks, and on the other hand, it has the likelihood of each risk happening. and the potential impact that it will have if it does happen. So for this, I think it's better if you do the research on your own. There are a lot of visuals out there, and of course, if you have any questions, you can feel free to ask me about it. So risk matrix is also a very common way of analyzing what risk you have and how you can be able to mitigate them. And finally, the five whys. It's an interesting method, and it's a problem-solving technique that involves asking why 5 times to drill down into the root cause of the problem. So, for example, we can start with let's say I have I have difficulty getting from home to school, and then I ask myself why, and that is because my that is because the transportation method I use is difficult. It might be expensive. It might be very crowded at that time. So I ask myself again why. So when you do these things and you ask yourself why 5 times, you usually get to the root cause of your problem. You get to the very bottom of it. So try to have that experiment. Ask yourself this thing, and apply it in different aspects of your life. So it's a very interesting approach to really drill down into the root cause. All right. So moving on, you should also add customer testimonials or case studies. So this is a slide where you provide social proof by showcasing satisfied customers or successful use cases. So you could include testimonials, quotes, or stories from your early adopters, and if possible, and if you have it, you.
I'm sorry. I think you're muted yourself. Yes, yes. You have muted.
Okay, okay. Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Okay, great. Thanks. Okay, yeah. So for the customer testimonials or case studies, you might not all have them in regards to your end product because you don't have a finished product yet. So what you can do for this is you will have a customer testimonial for your market research, right? When you're trying to really understand the problem, you'll be gathering insights from different people who are experiencing that problem. And from them, you could have different testimonials, or you could even have your own case study where you really study what the problem is, why it's affecting them, how they can be alleviated from this problem. So, gathering your case studies, your testimonials in such a way really gives more impact and credibility and trustworthiness to your cause, to your problem. So if you have these, then that's great. But if you do not, at least have them from your market research. So customer testimonials or case studies, they're also a very important slide. So moving on, you should also highlight your use of funds. So this is very important for investors. So let's say they give you $500,000 for to work on your project, but they will ask you how you're going to be using the $500,000 that they'll be giving you. So for this, you'll have to go into details on how you plan to use the specific investment. So perhaps you can have a breakdown and a breakdown of your different costs, costs that you might expect, that you anticipate, that you currently have. So all these things they can be in a breakdown in a broken down format and explained as your use of funds slide. So you should also make sure that you justify each slide, each allocation with strategic reasoning because it has to make sense. Because investors will not be giving you money for no reason, right? Each money that they give you has to be justified. So make sure you have a proper breakdown for this. All right. So moving on, you have your exit strategy. So Exit strategy is part of. I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah. So an exit strategy is usually a part of your risk assessment and your risk mitigations plan. So an exit strategy is what happens if your product doesn't work. So let's say a lot of money has been invested in your product. So after it has been invested and you already have risks associated with that, you have mitigation plans. But let's say, I mean, you can never tell if you'd be able to mitigate those risks 100% of the time. So in some cases, there's a case that your product will fail, your company will go bankrupt. So sorry, yeah. So your company might go bankrupt, and you might have, different legal issues. Perhaps it could be different things. So for these things, you should tell your investors that you have an exit strategy. So you tell them that even if even if something horrible happens to our product, you will be able to ensure them that their money will be okay. It won't be completely lost. You can at least return a hefty amount of it. So this is what the exit strategy is for. So exit strategy could come in different forms. It could be an IPO, it could be acquisition or a merger. So, for example, let's take a look at the first one, which is the IPO or the initial public offering. So, an IPO involves taking a company public by listing its shares on a stock exchange. So, in especially in Ethiopia, I mean, this will be a thing now because we have our stock exchange market set up, and it will be running soon. And I am not quite sure about most countries in Africa, but hopefully, I believe most countries have stock exchanges already. So, well, when you make your company an IPO on an initial public offering, it brings in more funds to your company. So in that way, you could be able to mitigate losses that you're encountering. So it will also enable investors to sell their shares because you might have different problems with your investor and they might want to opt out. So if they want to opt out, the legal way to do this without hurting you is to sell their shares and take their dividend and leave the company. So this is one way to go about it. You can set up an IPO. You can also have acquisitions. So if you're not able to compete in that market, maybe you have problems in different areas, or maybe your competitor is just too good at what they're doing, and you're losing a lot of money. So what you do is you start the acquisition process. So you have your competitor acquire your company. So when you do that, they will be the competitor will be the one buying you out. So when they buy you out, you'll be able to offer your money to the investors, which is technically their money. So that's one way. There's also a merger. It's when a startup combines with another company to form a new entity. So when you have different complementary strategies and strength, these things usually happen. So this also gives the investor that sense of relief that their money will not be completely lost. So even if you go down, you'll have different ways in which you return that money to the investor. So this is what the exit strategy is all about. And finally, you'll make room for your product demonstration or walkthrough. So here you take them through your product. So let's say you have an app and you start with the very first page, which will probably be the login. So you start with that user's login. You show them the homepage. You highlight the different features that you have. So you do a quick demonstration of each things. So let's say you have a chatbot or an AI-powered analysis platform dashboard. So when you have those things, you should quickly go over them and show how they really work, and also show that they actually work. So those things are important. So show your key features and benefits, and also ensure that the user experience is very much enjoyable um, for them. And that's how you show them. You go through your app and show them that your UI is really well done, and it's intuitive, and it's user friendly. Um, and also show them how your product is solving the problem that you initially started with. So when you began with this project, you started with a problem, right? So for this problem, you went through all the stages. I can answer them. I can answer them. All right.
How possible? I'm sorry because I don't have experience with this part.
Oh, I see.
Risk analysis. What should we do? What is an example of what can we do? For example, to manage the risks of the company.
Okay, all right. So yeah, for this, I think to explain it more, the SWOT analysis would probably be easier to explain. So in the SWOT analysis, we have strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, right? So the strengths and weaknesses are what you have within the team. It's an internal factor. So what is strong about your team? What's strong about your product, and what is weak about your team and your product. So those are two things. Let's start with those two. So let's say for the strengths, perhaps you have very strong AI experts. So that could be your strength. So you can really explain that this team member will enable you to provide a very strong AI platform, AI powered platform. So that is your strength. And for your weakness, you might see our team is totally made up of engineers. So that is one weakness. So because if you're all engineers, that means you don't have insights in different perspectives, and you also don't have people who will be working on your marketing, on your sales, on different pitch decks. So these things are considered a weakness. So what could be a mitigation plan for this? It's you can say that you have already planned on recruiting a product manager, let's say, and this product manager will be enabling us to mitigate the weaknesses that we currently have. So that's an internal factor. It's within the team. It might also be within your product, right? So if it's with your product, a weakness with your product, let's say you don't have this feature because we don't have an expert on that, then the mitigation strategy for that is you have already planned on hiring an expert in let's say backend or something, so that will be able to overpower our weaknesses. So you can do these types of things and work your way around it, around the risk analysis. Is that clear enough, or
Yes,
should I
yes,
provide?
thank you.
Okay, all right. So Emmanuel Bester, you can go ahead. Emmanuel, you can go ahead.
All right. Okay. So my question is on the customer feedback and testimonies. Since the projects we're just developing them, and then where are we supposed to, like, we don't have enough time to actually give users or people that can actually taste it and everything. How are we supposed to handle that?
Yes. So for this, your products, it's quite understandable that you haven't finished your product yet, and so you don't have customers who have tested your product and are able to give testimonials for that. But you do customer testimonials in two different parts. So first is when you're doing your market research, and second is after you've finished your product and when you're collecting feedback. So for this, what you should be doing is when you are doing your market research, in order to really understand the problem more and to understand what needs to be done, you have probably talked to some people, right? So that also counts as a customer testimonial because they're testifying that the problem that you're aiming to solve is indeed a problem. So they can testify that they're facing the problem and that it's affecting them in this way. So you can have all those things. Or perhaps if you have done a broader market research, you can have case studies where you've analyzed different things and done your own research. You've done your own comprehensive research. So in that case, you can do a more comprehensive case study. So you can do this as well. Is that understood?
Yes, yeah, that's understood. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Okay, does anyone else have a question? Okay, yeah, the slides will be shared. Okay, Ryan, are you talking? I think Ryan Buzavia.
I ask you the question, please.
Hello, what?
Uh, as I get it, so the customer testimonial is not related to our product directly because we are not starting the phase of advertisement and we don't have a customers yet.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite get that.
Can you hear me?
Can you see that? Yes, I can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. As I told you, since we didn't get customers yet, we don't have
Hmm.
really accurate information about we don't have any testimonial yet because we didn't start in the phase of advertisement.
Or advertisement, you mean marketing, market research? Like you didn't start with market research? Is that what I heard?
Mm-hmm. It's not related to our product review feedback.
Oh, no, no, no. This is not related specifically to your product. It's in general
Okay.
about the extended pitch deck. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Is that it? I think if that is it, we have another presentation coming up. Oh, okay. We have one question. Amanil, you can go ahead.
Uh, hello, Zelalem.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, this is not really a question. Basically, before Brooke proceeds to the presentation, there's gonna be some kind of an index file I wanna show to the students. Basically, how they're gonna submit their deliverables. So yeah, just floating that
Okay,
in the air
great.
before
Okay.
Brooke moves on.
All right. Okay, good. Okay, so thank you everyone for listening. If you have any questions, drop them in the comment section. and our team will handle that, and I'll be replying back to you. All right. Thank you for your time. Bye.
Okay, hello everybody. Can you hear me? Like my voice is audible.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Basically, I'm not gonna be taking too much of your time. I'm just gonna show you how you're gonna be submitting your deliverables to us. So let me just share my screen. So basically, this is gonna be the sheet. So the sheet is divided into three sections. The first one is the README section, which basically has all the information related to the sheet. So if we can see here, like there's a category here, there's an objective, there's things, there's data, there's estimated time to process, and last updated. So it's gonna be explaining those. And then there's gonna be what the deliverables are and the explanation. And then the sheet is gonna be, we have like 32 other sheets. So for example, let's see here, Code Crafters 2. Code Crafters 2 is a protector sheet, as you can see, meaning it's gonna be editable by the team members of Code Crafters as well as their coordinator, and no other team member could edit their deliverable index file. So that's why we get a protected sheet. Other than that, like we have provided some kind of an example. This example is taken from one of the projects that are currently being developed at A2SV, which is AfroChat. This is also the API key we're providing you for the generative AIs. So it has like what demonstrations are. Demos, as Zelalem explained, is going to be a video presentation that basically demonstrates the project in action. It shows like the practical implementation of your ideas and like what problems your system currently solve. So it's gonna basically have two things: the core functionalities as well as the interface. So it's gonna be a video presentation. Other than that, like we have a pitch deck. This as well is explained by Zelalem, which is basically a clear and simple presentation that would basically highlight your projects to the judges, to the investors, and to the stakeholders. And we have like extended pitch deck. This is also has been explained by Zelalem previously. This is a more detailed version of the pitch deck. And basically, let me just give you some kind of a brief summary about the other things. So the first one is one-pagers. So what are one-pagers? One-pagers are basically, as the name suggests, they're a concise single-page document that would summarize the whole project, including the key features. Basically, they're going to be visually appealing and easy to read presentations for the reviewers and the evaluators. Other than that, we have like roll-ups. So roll-ups are vertical banners designed for either physically or digitally, and this roll-up should capture the essence of the entirety of your project. So it's have like minimal text. However, it should have like more visual. It should focus more visual and basically focus on capturing the essence of your project. And then we have like brochures. Brochures are a more detailed kind of documents. They're designed to basically provide a more detailed information about the project. It has like what problems are you trying to solve, the features, the benefits you have, a user testimonial if you have any, and any other information you think are important. And then we have like banners. Banners are basically designed, I'm sure as you know, like designed to catch the eye. So basically to convey the core message of your project, and this should be like a social media header. It could be a website banner, or it could be like something to display. And then finally, we have custom designs, taglines or key visuals. A more detailed version of this is provided on the README section, so you can read it. So like what you're gonna be doing is you're gonna basically state the objective of the deliverable you have. So like if your project, let's say, is code crafters, if your team is code crafters, you're gonna have some kind of demo, and you're gonna basically have a brief description about what your demo is trying to do. So usually it's gonna be to explain the functionalities, but there are some kind of different differentiation from project to project. So try to add that, and then the same with all the others. And then you're gonna be providing us with the link, and the link should have an access with the link should have view access to everybody, so we can view that. And then we have like the status. So we have currently like 5 statuses, which is live, which means it's the final version. And then we have like the draft, we have in review and deprecated, and then we have like finals. So these are the status, which allows us to keep track of the completion status of your deliverable. So please don't get discouraged to add your deliverable, even if it's not currently in its final form. Other than that, like we have estimated time to process. This means how much time is it gonna take, let's say, a third person or an outside person to basically gain understanding, or to process, to read or watch your deliverable. And then finally, last updated. This is gonna be for when the document is last updated. So yeah, these are the things. So please make sure to always add your deliverables here. And thank you. Yeah, I'll give the stage to Brooke. Thank you, everybody. Sure, Joshua. Joshua, yeah.
Okay, so when will this be sent out to us to start editing? Is it on the final delivery week or now?
No, this is gonna be sent right after today's workshop. It's gonna be sent to your coordinators, and they're gonna be sharing this index file. Yeah, it will be sent right after this this workshop. Yeah, we could also like send this in the WhatsApp and Telegram groups. Yeah. So like, if there are, I think there are no any more questions regarding like how they're gonna be. Oh, the deadline for the completion of the deliverables. I think Elvis. That's gonna be depend on the type of deliverables. However, we're gonna follow up and remind you like when they're gonna be due. Yeah, Sei Ogandipe. Sorry if I mispronounce your name, but continue.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I have a question. Can we, in the demo, like the example index file, are there projects in it that we can easily check out? For example, in case of the one pager and the whole.
Yes, so we have tried to provide some example links here. Like this is the pitch deck for AfroChat, and you can use this as an example. We've specifically added that for you to refer when you're trying to come up with your pitch deck or your other deliverables. So you can use this as an example. This is one thing, and like we have trying to create a pitch deck, right? Your pitch deck is going to be on some kind of Canva link, and whenever there is an update on it, the link you've provided is not going to be updated, only the content. So it's not going to affect the link you've provided. However, there are like statuses, as I've said, which are like the completed, the draft versions and others. So whenever there is an update to your document, you have to update the status. Other than that, I don't think you have any other things to worry about.
All right, thank you so much.
Sure, thank you, Manuel. Karika, I think.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Thank you.
Sure.
My question is this now: for most of the projects, they are not. Some projects are not startups. Some projects are startups. So meaning that they've gotten customer experience, field experience, and all. So most of these field ups that we have to do for projects that are like being built or that have not really been since are we to do like speculations for this data, or how do we get the actual data to be able to fill in for for the to fill in for the information as required?
Okay, so I'm not exactly sure if I understand you correctly, but let me just restate your question and make sure if that's
Okay,
correct. So
can I rephrase my
yeah,
question?
sure,
Okay,
sure.
okay, I'm going to take an example like this. Let's say, for instance, I'm working on a project that I've not released for users to interact with.
Other things that you might need. Other than that, based on your project. So let's say your project is related to agriculture, and if that's let me give the stage to Brooke, and thank you everybody.
Okay, so hello everyone. My name is Birook Melese, and I am a product designer here in A2SV. So just to make it clear, you can hear my voice, right? Clearly. Just thumbs
Yes.
up if you can hear. Okay, thank you. So now we're gonna see uh, how can we uh, how can we design a best and effective pitch decks. So as Zelalem tried to mention, so a well-designed pitch deck is crucial for effective communicating your idea to the judges or potential investors. That when you're presenting your pitch deck, so it will definitely help you to convey your message clearly and make a strong first impression and showcase your professionalism. So a quality pitch deck not only tells your story but also engages your audience. So which actually makes it more likely that your idea will be remembered and taken seriously. So like the whole point in a pitch deck design is uh, like your audiences are potential investors and judges. So you definitely need to design professional pitch decks. So uh, in this uh, presentation, in this workshop, we will try to see how can you choose the right template from Canva tool. I'm not sure like how many of you are flexible to design using Canva, but I guess Canva is like overloading slides. So there are like different and unnecessary too much text in the slide. So like the whole point of your slide should be like minimalistic. So so that your content how can you use icons rather than using like multiple texts, and that is like 25% of designers miss this one. And then the other mistake is low quality graphics. So on the low quality graphics means like you don't have to use blurred image on your slide, or you don't have to use blurred. And the other mistake is so hierarchy is you need to have two so you need to have a detailed part, detailed text, and actually all of these things. So the first one is the text. So let me drag maybe let me just go to the text section right here. So there is a heading and there is subheading, and at the same time there is body text right here. So let me just drag it right here. So I can work with this with my heading, but as I was trying to tell you before, like consistency matters than just visual thing. So you need to have a clear hierarchy on your text, and this is your subheading, and this is the body text. So in the text part, you can use alignment section. So like, for example, let me just drag it like this, and then this is the center alignment, and then this is the left alignment. You can use like different alignments right here, and then at the same time you can use like if you want to make them all of the text like uppercase, you can click this one, and then your whole design will be uppercase. And then this is the weight section. So you can press, for example, the body text, and if I press this B, so you can see that the weight is increased. And then if you want to, actually, most of the time you don't need bullet points, but if it is necessary for you, there is a bullet section right here, and then you can use that. If you enter, you can write your other section, your other details here. So it is a bullet section, and on the effects part, there are different effects on your text, but especially for the pitch deck design, it's not that much like necessary even to understand any of them, because like your pitch deck should be should look more professional. So I actually don't recommend to use text effects from those sections, but just for you to understand it, let me just click this one, and if I press this one, I can give it a shadow for my text, or I can give it like a lift for my text, and I can also increase the intensity right here. And also there is a hollow type of text right here. You can find it like just you can actually work on those one. But as I was trying to mention it before, I actually don't recommend you to use those effects on your slide, because it does have to look more professional. So yeah, and then you can change your color from here. And then you can select like different, like those colors are already like predefined colors. You can the text color will be changed, and I can also increase the font size right here. There is a plus and there is a minus, but if you prefer to write it by yourself, for example, if I want to make it maybe 48, I can. This is it for the text part, and let's go to the shapes part. Okay, let me just clear all of those, and let's go to element section, and let me just click see all right here. You can see there is a shapes and see all button here, and then after that I can select lines, or I can drag them. I can drag any shapes that I want, and then I can customize I can customize the line. For example, I can give it like the arrow on its head, or I can also increase its line weight. Like if I drag like this, you can see that it's increasing and decreasing. Yeah, and this one is like a type of line that you want to design. For example, if there are like multiple shapes right here, and if you want to connect them by using this curved or elbow line, you can use like you can just work on it, and then there's this you can actually have like different types of lines right here. So by using or by taking a look at your design, if you want to have like a broken line, you can use a broken line, and yeah, you can actually customize this line by itself. And then the other one is so the rectangle shapes. For example, let's drag this one right here, and then like if you can see that like if I double click on that, I can write anything. Like it could be like, okay, so you can see that I can write inside this rectangle, and then maybe if I don't remove that, and then so you can actually update the color right here. You can update. Let's just make it maybe okay. Right here. So the like this is like a second color for your text color. Maybe if there is okay, maybe there is a text here, and then I can copy all of it, and then I can fill the text color here just like this. Let me just so in this section, if you want to give like a stroke for your rectangle, you can like use this section, and you can also increase the weight of the stroke. Maybe it's not visible if I change it to this one, and then let me just reduce that one, and then by this way you can have a stroke on your rectangle, and at this point, at this section, you can see a corner rounding. You can drag it like as you want. So this is it, and maybe on the transparency section, you can reduce the visibility of your shapes or anything by reducing and increasing. Yeah, I guess that's so you can use different sections. Maybe you can use like circles and different predefined shapes. So those are the shapes. Okay, the next section is graphics. So graphics is, for example, if you most of the time, it is obvious that you will need icons for your design. So how can you find icons? So after you select this one, there's a graphic section. As you can see, if I clicked see all, maybe internet is bad, but you can see like different icons right here. Or if you didn't find your icons right here, you can actually just search for it right here. For example, let me just search from my recent search. There is a maybe there is a gallery search. Okay, so you can actually as I was trying to mention this one before. So this one is a field type of icon, and this one is outlined type of icon. So for example, if I okay, let me just use this one. And for example, if I have this type of icon from the left side, and if I have this type of icon on the right side, it is obvious that there is like visible inconsistency between those icons, because this one is like a filled or a bold type of icon, but this one is just the outline type of icon. So try to use if you are using the bold type of icon, try to find a bold type of icon for this one. Or if you are using outline type of icon, you can exchange this icon by this icon, and then you can delete this one. So this is it on the graphic section. And at the same time, on the graphic section, you can have like different illustrations for your design. You can just you can even have like 3D illustrations, transparency, just like this. So that like I can use this type of background throughout my whole design. So this is an image and image section. So it is obvious that you don't need to have audios on this section, but let me just show you how you can generate maybe like image. So you can hit the plus icon, and then you can generate anything that you want. Maybe let me just click this one. So super realistic background, ultra detailed, colorful. So this is just a prompt. So I can generate that one. I actually can have 4 different images, just like Copilot. So it might need some time, but after that, after it generates for you, you can even make it as a video. Let me just yeah. I can also just drag this one, but it doesn't actually complete it yet. But if you actually see the 3 icons right here, if you click that one, you can generate a video just like this. So, but it might take us some time, which is we don't have. We just have 15 minutes left. So let's go back and on the chart section, for example, let's go back to the chart section, and on the element section, if I want to have a bar chart, so it is already advertised here. I can select that one, and then okay, I think it's due to internet. Okay, bar charts. Yeah, it actually uploaded just like this. So this is like prepared by the Canva team, but you can customize it for whatever you want to have. For example, if you want to, you can update the color just like this. And you can also update the second color. Maybe let me just hit this one, and let me just reduce just some amount, or maybe just I can use let me just make it more dark, and then I can let me just select this one, and then if I go to the data section right here, so item 1, we can just 1. So let me just make it as 2 and 3. So if you just take a look at this, the previous titles are changed just like this. So you can also you can also remove the one of the sets, and you can also there are different sections right here that you can customize. So this is just a bar chart, and maybe donut chart. If you just search for that and you go to the graphic section, you can see different charts. If you just select this one, this is not actually a donut chart, but let me just show you how so we don't need this one. Let me just delete this one, and let me just increase this one. For example, if I want to write some titles right here, and I can also have different texts right here, and on this section I can use it as a maybe as a number, for example, on our previous design. So it is actually just like this. Yeah. So this is a bar chart. So this is a bar chart, and this is actually an image. You can't customize that because it's just an image, but you can modify the colors. So yeah, I guess this is it on the chart section, and let's go to the mockup section. How can you build mockup is the purpose of mockup is it is actually a prototype, or it's just a visual representation of the product that you are working. For example, if you are working, for example, let's say on the mobile. So okay, let me just hit this one, and then if you scroll at this point, you can see different mockups. Let me just click see all, and then there are different mockups right here, and for example, let's try to find a mobile mockup. Yeah, so this is the smartphone mockup. I can drag this one right here. Okay, it's loading, I guess. Okay, I don't need one of it. So I can bring my mockup just like this, and then so in the inner section, you can actually screenshot your product, and then you can add it on this section. How can we do that? Maybe let me just try to show you by one of pre-uploaded image. So this is the screenshot. So this is the screenshot for the AfroShot app, and I can drag it inside this one. Maybe it's loading it. Okay, let's keep loading. Yeah. Let me just zoom it for you so that you can. Yeah. It is actually a perfect fit for this one. So this is how you can use the prototypes or the mockups on your design. So it's not just for the mobile app, but you can also use for the web app as well. Yeah. So you can also use your screenshot version of your product from a Chrome or any from any browser, and then, for example, I also have pre-uploaded screenshot. For example, this one. Okay. So let me just drag it inside this. It is loading. So this is the mockup that you can find. So let me just zoom it for you so that you can see that clearly. Yeah. So you can use this type of mockups on your design, like whenever it is necessary. So this is it on the Canva tools section. Maybe like if you have any questions on the tools, on the Canva tools, we will proceed that later. So on the common mistakes, we've already tried to cover it up. So now we will try to see how can we find the right templates, and I will also walk you guys through every steps. So before going to the template and how can we customize, so do you guys have any questions up to now, especially on the tools section? Okay, so like if you have any questions on the tools section, this is the right time. Okay, so in that case, we can proceed to okay. Let me just share my whole screen. Let me just get back. Okay, let me just. Okay. So let me just plus hit and then canva.com. I think internet is a bit weak. That's why it's keep loading. And Canva actually requires a high-speed internet. Okay. So after you got into on the Canva section, on the Canva homepage section, like you can see there is a templates button right here. Just click that one. Yeah. And then just try to search pitch deck. So after you search the pitch deck, so you can find different types of already like pre-designed templates for you that you can modify. That I was trying to tell you before. So you can update this one by going to the data section, and you can update everything right here. Maybe if let's say this is like business model section, and you can update everything right here. It is actually scrollable, so you can add more bars just like this, and then you can update that one as you can update that one. Yeah, and if like if any page is not necessary, you can remove that one. So the other thing is it would be nice like if you use page indicators right here. So if I go to this section, I can see that it is on the first page and second and third. So it would be nice if you use this one. Then yeah, and then this is it for the um, yeah. This is actually like the way you can find like the right template, and then how you can customize and add more visual elements. So is there anyone who have any questions regarding how can you find the templates? Okay. Uh, okay. In that case, maybe for the last okay, on the last part, let me just walk you guys through the AfroChat pitch deck so that you can use it for your presentation, for your pitch deck. Uh, okay, it's loading. So yeah. So on the first section, it is more like a title slate. So at this phase, you can of your are trying to use your product, are trying to use your product. So on the problem section, you can use like different icons right here. So the actually like the whole point of using icons is like when you see this one, you can see that it's it does actually say it does actually says more like premium and like many kind of explanations. So you can use this type of icons right here on the problem section, and like you don't have to use like many texts on your slide. Just try to use a minimum and text on the problems and on every section. So this is the market opportunity. So this is just forecasting. Like it is obvious that all of you guys are having like the startup project. It's already on the development phase. So you actually don't have the previous like, and then other products which are used by most people. And this is like the way that competitor analysis you can use. Like you can use just a simple table just like this. And let's go to market strategy. So uh, you can use like this type of designs on your market strategy. But as I'm saying, like you actually don't need to copy everything like that you are looking, but it's just to give you some ideas that how you can uh, use the more professional designs. So on the revenue stream, how can you like so you can use just like this, like you can actually also make use like icons right here. So it's for it's optional. And the on the team section you can use just like this. So it actually needs to have on your slides. So the last part is the call to action part. So after you finalize your slides, so it will be stayed for a bit minutes. So you have to put the key user contact informations right out, like at the end, hear it, and okay, maybe thumbs up if you got everything. So in that case, we can finalize our meetings.
That should not be the final version of the demos or any deliverables that you're going to submit. So make sure to populate that. Your coordinators are going to communicate with you about this. Yeah, I think that's all from our side. Thank you everyone for being here. And this session is being live streamed on YouTube, and make sure to see the videos for any confusions that you may have. We'll be sharing the slides as well on the WhatsApp groups. Yeah. And if anyone has any question or anything to raise, you can ask. If not, we can conclude the workshop. Okay, if that is the case, thank you everyone for being here, and have a nice time.